So I did this because I started collecting comics a little while ago. I got a comic like in the middle '90s, and it was a reprint of the first Superman, and I hid that away. And then over the years, I've been picking up comics at estate sales and just about everywhere, and so things have been kind of progressing, and I'm kind of learning that comics can be pretty lucrative if you kind of know where to look. Go to estate sales, go to yard sales, and pick them up. If you can pick them up by the box, that's even better. You get a cheaper deal. But I got a bunch of comics here graded, and I want to kind of give you an idea. Like this comic here, I've looked at a few of them, but not all of them because I wanted it to be a surprise. But, and they're probably going to be backwards because of the way the, what do you call it? My iPad, Apple does something. So this is, I already looked at this, but even though it's a 3.5, this comic is from 1974. So it's already 45 years old. And it's worth not a whole lot. In that grade, it's not worth very much, maybe $50. But I probably paid like maybe $1, I think. Well, what makes this comic even worth something is this has the first appearance of Fire Lord. And that's one of the things I'm finding out that's really important when it comes to comics is even though this is number 225 of Thor, its first appearances is what makes it give it some worth. Qualified grade means that there was a problem with it. I'll show you some other ones that are graded normal with what they call a universal grade. That means the comic is legit, it's exactly as it was printed, and then the grade determines if there's any problems. I'll go over some of the issues that can cause a bad grade. But even though this is a 3.5, it's still worth about $50-$60 just because it's the first appearance of Firelord. If this thing went up to like an 8 or a 9.8, it could be worth over $1,000. So, and these things go into a plastic case, so they're sealed for good. And this grade is permanent, even though if you can see there's somebody put like an X. Somebody wrote an X on it, and that probably costs a little bit of the grade. So another one I got. This one's worth not as much as that one, but I wanted to get it graded. It's not. It doesn't have any first appearances, I don't think. No, but it has Batman, Green Arrow, Black Canary in it, and it's a Superman. And I like Superman comics. I have a bunch of them that are old, but this one's from 1971, and even though it's a 3.5, it's worth more than I think I paid $2 for it. It's probably worth about 20 at that grade. What really caused the grade to be this low is because of the paper is like brown. As it gets old, you see white paper turns yellow and dark. These are almost. I actually have it marked up here. Off-white to white pages. It means they've faded over time. But it has a lot of creases on the binding. There's rust on the staples. The corners, you probably can't even see it, but the corners they're kind of rounded. So that costs a lot. That costs a lot of the grade. Let's see what else we got next. My favorite, and my brother Mike, who's on here, he can appreciate this. What's up, Dwayne? Everybody meet Dwayne Angles and Liz. How you doing, Liz? I worked with both of them at DISA. And yeah, water damage can cause problems. That really causes bad problems because it really damages the pages pretty bad. So, oh, that's not a bad grade. So this is Amazing Spider-Man, and this is from 1981. And it's got a grade of 8.5. And this is the origin and the first appearance of Hydro Man. So this, even though this comic is from 81 and it's number 212, it's probably worth, at an 8.5, it's probably worth over $100. And I think I paid like $3 for it at a estate sale. But this is in pretty good shape. You can look at it. They say it's got white pages, so the pages aren't faded that much, even though as old as it was. So that's a pretty good deal. See what I got with this one. This is another Spider-Man. See what grade I got on that. It's an 8.0. This is a good one too, because this is first appearance of Madam Web. So that really jets up the price of a comic. You can see, if I can get it to the light, you can see those corners are pretty sharp. They got a little bit of fraying to them. That's probably what costs, especially that one right there. It's probably what costs some of the grade. The staples are nice. The binding's nice. There's a little crease right there in the binding. And the corner down here has some fraying. So the scale goes from a 1.0 to a 10.0. A 1.0 to 10. So you can see also on the edge, the print is a little bit off. The pages are a little off, so that can cause some of the grade. I can already see what the next one is. The next one is a good one. This is thanks to my brother and Victor Robinson. I don't know if Victor's on here, but Victor worked with Liz and Dwayne and I in DISA. And Walking Dead, a whole bunch of comics always do blank, what they call sketch variants. It's just a blank page, has the front page of the comic, but it's blank. And then you can either take it to a show and have one of the artists do a drawing on it, or you can have anybody do a sketch. So I asked Victor to do the back, and I asked my brother to do the front. And even if Victor isn't in here, he already saw the front of this, and he was blown away by my brother's talent as being an artist. But this was Victor's drawing. I asked him to do a sketch, do some zombie work. It's got some girl holding the head here, and you see it still has a barcode. This is almost exactly like the comic, except it's blank. It has the barcode and the title. But the front of this is going to blow you away, because this is my bro. That's his work. Now, the Walking Dead art up here, that is all the original comic. That and this down here is all original. The actual artwork on the comic is my brother, Mike, that's on here. That's some skill right there, bro. You need to get to some of these Comic-Cons and fan expos and do some drawings. There's a lot of money in these. These guys don't make... A lot of these artists will do posters. They'll do a drawing, something like this, and then they'll put it on a poster, and they'll print like 1,000 posters, and it'll cost them probably, 50 cents a poster to print, because they do a lot of them, and then they sell them for $20, and then another $10 if you sign it. So $30 times 1,000, that's pretty easy math. That makes a pretty good living. Now that could also get you into the comic industry. As you can see, this got a pretty good grade of 9.6. One of the things you got to understand about comics that have these blanks, you're not graded on the blank cover. The comic is actually underneath here. You open the blank and you'll see the original cover for the original comic. That is what's graded. You could actually tear this blank cover, and it won't affect the grade at all, because they don't grade on that. They only grade on the original comic, and the blank variant is added later. You can't get a copy, bro, because this is the one you did. There's only one copy. There's only one on the entire planet, and it's mine. So, and it has name and sketch written on front and back cover in marker. That's all it does. It doesn't show anything about who did it, but you can look. My bro's got his mark down here. Victor didn't even put a mark on it. Yeah, but you can see, like, this top corner has some, it's kind of handled kind of rough. I told Victor and my brother to kind of be as much careful as possible, and they did a good job. A 9.6 for a comic that's been shipped around from here to Virginia and back, and then I don't know. I don't know if I can turn it. All the dots are red. It's blood splatter. I'm gonna keep this from shining. Yeah, there you go. I get close enough. Yeah, there you go. Will it to you. I gotta die before you for that to work, bro. Don't count on it. This is my grandson's college money. So anyhow, that's how that works for blanks. And you get a lot of blanks. I have another blank. You know what, bro, if you want, I do have another of this exact one, 109. That's a blank that I can mail to you, and you can do your own. It's up to you. You let me know. But that's that one. 9.6 is not bad. So let's see. I seen your artwork, Andy. All right, so this one is from 1986, Web of Spider-Man. Not bad. This 6.5. It's a pretty old comic, but this is a pretty rare issue. So I think at 9.8, this one sold for like $600 or $700, but at a 6.5, maybe $100. But that's it'll never go worse than a 6.5. It's sealed like that for good. Next guy, what is this? Spectacular Spider-Man. This one's from 1990. Now I got the reason why I got these graded, even though it seems kind of random. So this is Spectacular Spider-Man 5.5, number 90. This one is a pretty good one. This is first black costume and title on Black Cat appearance. So it's first time. This is another one that's worth a lot of money if it was a 9.8, but it's a 5.5, so it's maybe $100. But again, I only paid $1 to $3 a piece for these. Whoa, easy now. No earthquake. That was just me hitting the chair or hitting the table. Well, yeah, okay. When I send these off to be graded, these are graded by CGC, CGC Comics, and they also grade magazines. Graded magazines can also be worth more. And I can tell you already, this is a magazine. This, and I got a 9.9 on this. This is a new series. Well, it's not really new. I think it came out 2018, last year. I'm waiting on the third one to come out. So there's only been 2 or 3. There's only been 3 books for this. 1, 2, and 3, and then 1 variant for each. Now the variants are additional covers. So this one, interesting about this, being a 9.9, this book by itself on eBay is like $60. You get it graded with a 9.9, it's probably maybe $400 or $500 it's worth. The reason why, because this book has a dick pic. It's got the Batwang. The artist drew a picture on one of the pictures, and in a silhouette, you can see Batman's penis. But because of that, they turned around and pulled it. DC Comics pulled them, and then they said they will never reprint. They won't come out with another print. So this is a one-time print with the bat wang, not bat wing, bat wang, bat penis. So, and there's the variant, which is in here too, but that's a 9.9. That's a really hard grade. Yeah, here's the variant. This also has the Batwang in it. This is Batman Damned #1 variant. And it also has it, but this is a 9.8. So, oh wait, no, that's not. This is book number, yeah, this is book number 2, first print. That was book 1, first print. The book number 2 doesn't have the Batwang. What is this? This is book 2 variant. Now this is variant cover. You'd have to go online because I ain't opening up this thing to show you Batman's dick pic. I ain't doing it. So this is a 9.9 also. But this is the artist on this is Jim Lee, and he's going to be in Dallas for the Fan Expo in May. This book, 9.9, packed like this, because this is book 2 and then the other one's book 1, probably worth a couple $100. I get Jim Lee to sign it, it's worth a lot more. The problem is when I take it down to Dallas and I crack this and I get them to crack this, I take a risk of lowering the grade. But I'm willing to take that risk because an unsigned 9.9 is worth less than a signed 9.8. And most likely if I get it signed, it won't, I mean, the worst case scenario, it was dropped to a 9.8. Best case scenario, it'll stay as a 9.9. So I'm taking this book down to Dallas to be signed by Jim Lee. Then what else we got? I think this is book 1 of the variant. Yeah. So this is book 1. And book 1 is the one that has the dick pic. So this has the dick pic. This one I'm getting, I'm going to take it to Dallas also and get Jim Lee to sign it. It's also a 9.9. I mean, it's a big risk, but I'm willing to take that risk. So, to give you an idea on marks and stuff, I've got a comic here that, because I have one more comic to show you, but I have a comic here that has some issues that I bought on eBay. Now, if you can see right here, if I can turn it, you see them little wrinkles. That's probably going to drop this comic almost, if I was to get it graded, it'd probably drop that comic almost a whole grade. It'd probably go from a 9. That's where it would start. Because there's a wrinkle there. There's another wrinkle across here. I mean, I was kind of irritated with the guy what I bought it off of because it was supposed to be near mint, which means you googled the bat dick. Okay, if I wanted to get this graded, I would have asked for my money back and for him to send me another one. The guy really shipped it kind of really shitty. He didn't have it packed very well, but that gives you an idea. The corners, even when the machines cut the book, if they cut the corners and leave those little fibers, those little paper fibers, that's 1/10 of a point. You know, on each corner, they'll nail you on each corner if they see those fibers. A 9.9 is really hard to get. A 10 is like a unicorn. That's like impossible. But I don't foresee myself ever getting a 10 unless you buy it, or unless I get really lucky. But I've ordered the 3rd Batman Damned book, and I'm hoping to Yeah, exactly right, bro. Hanging Chad. I'm hoping to get a 9 or a 10 because some of those magazines have come back as a 10. But I'm not going to send this one off. But this is Batman 608, and this is the first print. This is one of the variants. The first print of Batman 608, which is the Hush, it's called Batman, it's the Hush series. It's worth, I think one of them graded at 9.8, I think it was 9.8, sold on eBay for like $5,500. A lot of money. That was the first print. This is the second print. Now this, all right, bro, I'll talk to you later. This comic was only issued during a conference for retailers, for comic book shop owners, and supposedly only 200 of them. And I got this graded as a 9.8. But what's different about this one is if you look in that, let's see if I can get it. So if you look right here, it's printed backwards, but it says manufacturer error. So that makes this worth even more and more rare. I looked on eBay and I was only able to see one other one. And usually a manufacturer error will affect the grade. But this is also a Jim Lee. And I'm going to have this one cracked and signed also. So I'm going to have all these three books cracked and signed and then resealed as a signature series. This book signed by Jim Lee, sealed and graded, if I can keep a 9.8, will probably be worth about, I don't know, $1,500. That's about what they're going for. So it's worth, some comics are worth grabbing. I got this comic at an estate sale for $14. Another one I'm going to take, I don't have this one graded yet. I don't know if you're into The Walking Dead, but the comic that my brother did drawing on was 109, and this is 108. This is the first appearance of King Ezekiel. If you don't follow The Walking Dead, you don't have a clue what I'm talking about. But King Ezekiel is one of the characters. You got Negan, you got the governor, you got Michonne, you got all those characters in the show, and all of them show up in different areas of the comics. Now, signing the cover without getting it CGC graded could affect the grade. But if you get the comic signed and it's witnessed by CGC, which they do, a lot of the fan expos, Comic-Cons and stuff like that, CGC will have a booth. If you buy a ticket to go get something signed, you go over to CGC and you tell them, I would like to get a signature series. I would like to get a comic signed by an artist or by a, one of the authors or one of the characters. And they will come over and witness it. And then they'll take possession of the book, send it to Florida where they do the sealing, and they'll have it sealed. They don't sign with a ballpoint pen, they sign with a marker so it doesn't press on the book. And the signature itself doesn't affect the grade. But if you get it signed and don't have it CGC and they use like a ballpoint pen and it actually marks into the paper, that can affect the signature or grade, but it'll also come back as a qualified grade. So this is a universal grade. It's a blue label. That other one I showed you in the beginning that had the green label, that was a qualified. And what that means is there's a problem with the book. And what they'll do is they'll probably just say signature on cover. They won't say who it is or anything like that. I mean, you can try to sell it as a signed comic, but if it doesn't have the actual signature series label, which is yellow, then you don't have any proof. That's kind of like the signature is like a authenticity type of thing. It's considered to be authentic, and it's been verified by CGC, and then the book is sealed, so no one opens it again. The only thing I got left is this I'm debating on taking this down to have Jim Lee sign it also. This is like one of his first, and this is the X-Men #1. This is from 1991. It's the second group of the X-Men, because I think the first group came out like in 1960 something. And this is the second group, #1. And this is the variant #2 that Jim Lee actually did when he was just starting out. I'm debating on it, but it has some cracks in the cover. It has some issues, and I don't know. Even the staples have some rust on them, so I don't know if it's actually worth sending it off to be graded. But that's about it when it comes to comics. That's what I'm having fun doing. I got them all stacked up. I'm not a big comic collector. Might sound like it because I got like 1,100 comics, but that's nothing. When I started researching and cataloging everything and getting on forums to find out how many comics people have, there's people out there with 20, 30, 40,000. So there's people that have whole rooms that are nothing but comic books. Yeah, I don't need that. So that's pretty much it for me. I just have a small collection. I go to estate sales. I go, any place I can and find them cheap. How much is the one we did cover for worth? Well, there's an app. Whoa. So there's an app here. Let me get in here. Let's see if I can turn this. So there's an app. So if I go back, I can go in here. This Go Collect is great for comics. So if I do Walking Dead, let's see, Walking Dead, where are you? Walking Dead, 2003, and that book was 109. Here it is here. I don't know if you can see the actual cover. I just hate the way, there's no way to really look at it. But that's the actual cover. But they don't, what is it at? 109. They don't have the variant in here. But it sold 9.8 is what it was, or 9.6 is what it was. There were 16 sales on eBay, and it sold for $32. But that's $32, and that's just the normal comic without the sketch. Now, because it's an exceptional cover, but you're unknown. I don't know if that would. I don't know. I don't know. It wouldn't be sought after because nobody really knows who you and Victor are. So you'd have to get you need to get some art out there. You need to show people your talents. But yeah, $32. But I'll give you an idea though. Like if I go back and I go to the Thor. And here it is, $225. And you can select in this thing to only show you comics that have what they call key issues. There's $225 right here. $225, 9.8. That's that one that I had. There it is. There's $225 Thor. This one right here. If it was a 9.8, it's worth $1,800. But this is a 3.5. So I was wrong. Last sale was for $24. So, but it's sealed. And see, that's that green label, qualified. That means that it is a original comic, but it's missing something. And they have a note here that says, Marvel value stamp missing from page 10. Does not affect story, but it's considered incomplete. So that probably really affected the grade. But, and I think this Superman was worth something. But that's what I do with my comics. You don't need to be a member of The Walking Dead, bro. Take just like I said, do some drawings. Take them to a print shop. Get some, what size are they? I'll show. Hold on one second. I have some that I got signed. Oops. These I got from a Comic-Con. See Spider-Man? And I mean, that's, you can do 10 times better than that. But this was one of Spider-Man artists. So I bought that, and which one was this? Michael Golden. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's a big-time comic artist. That was a good one. There was a really good one that I got. Oh, here you go. Michonne from The Walking Dead. Signed by one of the comic artists. And, I mean, out of all the Comic-Cons I went to, I paid like $20 for this. And look, I mean, it's like 22 by 11 maybe. You go get those posters made, you can make a killing, man, because you're really a talented artist. And you go find out how much it costs to print these. You do one up, you take it in, you have them printed. Then you have to buy a booth at the Comic-Con. So I think they're like maybe $100 a day for the 3 days. So you spend $300, whatever it costs to print all these, and then you have people drop $20. I mean, if your art is really good, people will pay $20 a piece. You have 1,000 of them done. That's a killing, man, on a weekend. So that's pretty much it for tonight. We had a few people show up. Thanks for showing up, bros. And sis. And I'll talk to y'all later. Give me a call, bro, sometime. Susan, say hi. Don't be strangers. Later.